Alright, much brew about nothing time. Playing some mono blue Metallurgic Rise in standard. And we'll try this. Got a couple Metallurgic summonings. As long as we get the lands to cast them, it should be sweet. So Island and Goo. Fortified Village for our opponent, untapped. So Island and Goo. Land was a pretty good draw there. We might be able to just cast our summonings. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield in bay 1, if you do put a +1/+1 counter on it. Interesting. And then you sack it by paying 6 to put a counter on everything. Let's take Anticipate and Pieces of the Puzzle. Gotta make sure we can keep hitting our land drops. We also have Delirium. I have been amazingly impressed at Pieces of the Puzzle getting Delirium. Almost every time we cast it, we end up with Delirium. Usually. Opponent has a Nissa. Makes a token. Can't put a counter on it because their opponent doesn't have the mana for it. And passes. Ooh, we just draw a land. So in that case, I think we just pass the turn. Leave up Anticipate. Also select for inspection, I guess. Alright. Makes a token. Puts a counter on it. And passes. Alright, so let's Anticipate. Take an island. Put Rise from the Tides to the bottom. Our deck doesn't seem very dependent on Rise from the Tides, though. So we untap, play an island, and Metallurgic Summonings, number 1. Oh, it's the beginning of the end for our opponent. Pass the turn. Jeez, we can just play another Summonings next turn. Unless our opponent did something crazy to put us under pressure. Ooh, Angel of Invention, okay. I mean, that does put us under pressure, but I think we can still just Summonings. Because we can Metallurgic Summonings and then select for inspection, most likely the Angel. Opponent gets in for 5. Are we in danger of dying? So 4, we kind of are. They negative and sack this. Alright, so I think we got to do things the opposite way. We need to cast apart the Water Veil, get a 6/6, get an extra turn. Would have been super sweet if we had the second Summonings down, but what can you do? We draw an island. So let's attack Nissa, see what our opponent does. Opponent chumps to keep Nissa alive. Okay. Alright. Well, I think we're fine. We can play an island. Play Summonings number 2. Pass the turn, and we should be able to use Select Inspection to stay alive. Because we get 2 1/1 chump blockers out of the deal as well. So I think that makes it fine. So opponent anthems the team. Goes to combat. Does some attacking. So let's just select for inspection a token. Get a couple 1/1s. Scry an island to the bottom. Harness Lightning. Takes down a token. And then we'll just chump the 4/4 and take 7. Down to 8. See what else our opponent has. Finding a bounce spell would be super good. Like Engulf the Shore. Servo Exhibition. So this is essentially Naya tokens. Pretty interesting. This Durable Handicraft is better than it looks. Opponent keeps going wide. Well, let's see what we find. Maybe we just find Part the Water Veil. So let's attack our opponent, I think. I think we just win here now, actually. Put our opponent to 18. Play an island. Cast Part the Water Veil. Get 2 6/6s and an extra turn. And then Grip of the Royal, Surge, tap down the Angel, because it has lifelink. Get a couple of 3/3s, and an island. So Pieces of the Puzzle, get some 3/3s. What do we find? Two counters? That's not great. Well, we'll take the two counters. Play an island. Send everything at our opponent. I don't think we just win, though. Our opponent can chump out of this for the time being. Opponent chumps. And chumps. Takes 12. Alright, pass turn. I don't think it matters, though, because our opponent can't kill us, and now we have two counter spells in hand to stop anything crazy from happening. And our opponent scoops it up. Well, that was pretty sweet. That went extremely well. I think we bring in another Crush of Tentacles and go down our Rise from the Tides. Try it like that, maybe? Evasive Surgery, rebuff. I guess Thing in the Ice is probably pretty good in this matchup, too. Thing in the Ice, go down a Jace, a Select for Inspection, and a Scatter. And maybe a Negate. Let's try it like that. Alright. This is fine just because Engulf the Shore should be very good against our opponent's tokens. So Island, go. Island, go. Alright, there's an Oath of Gideon. Gets our opponent some tokens. It has begun. Island, go. Tokens are not that scary, though, with Engulf the Shore in hand. Opponent gets in for 2. So, down to 18. And if they play a Planeswalker, we're going to counter. Another Oath of Gideon, I don't really care about that. Sooner or later, we're just going to engulf all the tokens anyway. Well, we're good at drawing islands. Play an island, pass the turn. So I think here we're just going to leave up a counter. If our opponent doesn't play anything we need to counter, we'll probably just engulf on our opponent's end of turn to get rid of all the tokens. Yeah, let's do that. Engulf the Shore, gets rid of the 1/1s. Play an island. I swear we've drawn an island every single turn of this game, which is kind of okay. Sooner or later, we're going to hit our card draw and stuff. Servo Exhibition, sure. Opponent passes. That's good. So let's pass, and then we can scour end of turn if we don't have to counter anything. Opponent gets in for 2. Hopefully scour gets us some action. We've already drawn so many lands that you'd think we're going to draw spells before too long. What is... Ooh, Nissa? Alright, Nissa's fine. I'd rather draw the cards than counter Nissa. Opponent plays a land. Makes a token. So let's scour. Draw some cards. Not insane. Pieces of the puzzle and more lands. Thing in the Ice isn't bad, though. So let's play Thing in the Ice. Play an island. Pass the turn. Leave up our Select for Inspection and Scatter to the winds. Opponent pumps up the tokens. Goes attacking. So let's block a servo. Select for Inspection, the unblock servo. Get a counter off Thing in the Ice. What does our scry reveal? Definitely do not want another island. We have all the lands we need. So take 1 down to 11. Harness Lightning. Okay. Thing in the Ice down. I think that's fine. I think we still want to save our counter for something more devastating. Another Oath of Gideon. Alright. We'll let that go. We're getting close to where we're just going to be able to combo off and win, and we're not dead to what our opponent's done here, so at least yet. That's part the Water Veil. So pieces of the puzzle. Get a Crush of Tentacles and pieces of puzzle. Crush of Tentacles is huge here. Play an island. We get to Surge Crush of Tentacles. So we get an 8/8. Our opponent is booing. Pass the turn. Oath of Gideon gets our opponent some more tokens. So I don't think any of this matters because we're to the point where we're just going to be able to part the Water Veil and combo off. Arlen Cord, sure. Makes a wolf. Play an island. Awaken, part the Water Veil. Attack our opponent. Opponent takes it down to 12. Sure. So we untap, play an island, awaken, apart the Water Veil. Combo! Go attacking at our opponent. They're going to have to start blocking. So our opponent blocks. We untap. So we're not guaranteed to win here, but we could hit something that makes us win. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. So we got there. Well, combo.